Today I want to tell you about how ego has been historically, traditionally torturing people around. So you will see the manifestation of this ego, and then you will know that if you are playing anything, any role with your ego, you could be a part and parcel of that destructive force. Pituitary, which is within us, started growing when we raised our head. Like when we are animals, our heads were like this. And that time, the pineal body, as it is called, was very powerful. They say in human beings the pineal doesn't work out. It's not true. It does. But they don't know how it works. So, this pineal body within us was very active when we were animal state. When we raised our head, you see a chemical change took place within ourselves in the sense that our brain started growing in a pyramid, which I have told you how, with the parallelogram of forces and all that, it has started growing into a pyramid. And when it became like that, you see, because first it was only the pineal body looking after the superego, up to the animal kingdom, up to the kingdom where the animals sort of became more sort of humanized. Then the ego started growing. It's the only animals who can use the matter. Human beings can use the matter, not the animals. Animals cannot use the matter for their own purpose. When they started aggressing the matter, the ego started developing, and we developed this, what you call the pyramid of our brain. We started growing more and more and more and more like this. But when it reached its height, then we started using our ego more. We didn't stop at that point. We started moving on the other side. So this went down and it covered it completely like that. That's why we say the pineal body in the human beings doesn't work. It functions, no doubt, it functions. As a result of that, you see, when we saw this ego was growing, as a result of that, people felt extremely overconfident. What's wrong? Business started long time back. Said the time of Columbus. As I said, if Columbus had come to India, he would not have seen me here. He would have finished all the Indians there. Not him, he was a very nice man, but those who followed him. In the same way, this ego started destroying people, and they had an idea for triumph and killing people, occupying lands, occupying territories, accumulating wealth, went on and on and on and on this level. Then from there, they started, when the marriage system started in a proper way, again the aggression started on the women. And now the women are aggressing men like that. It all became so aggressive. But when you aggress, you don't see that you are aggressing. This is the problem of the egoistical person. Though he may be a seeker, though he may be a very genuine seeker, but if he is in the area of ego, he never feels his own catches because the ego is in between, the reality in himself. So he cannot see his own catches. He cannot see how he is aggressing others. And he doesn't see how he's hurting others, troubling others, torturing others. And such a person can be extremely arrogant, extremely strangulating. This is what happens when you get cancer also. When you get the cancer, what happens? It starts with the left side, no doubt. But when it comes into the person, then he becomes vulnerable to a disease or a disease where the person is aggressed. The person is aggressed. The cells of the body first develop the aggression. We call it malignant. When this cell comes in contact with others, that also becomes malignant. So that's how the malignancy spreads. And when it spreads, what happens? That supposing in the nose there are some cells which become malignant. So they start obstructing other organs to grow. The only nose will start growing like that. You mean to say, not outside but inside. So they aggress. You see, the aggression starts and they lose complete control with the whole because there is no coordination with the whole. They don't see that the whole has to grow together and not only the nose and not only the eyes, isn't it? And this breaking from the collectivity is the first sign when you find a sahajogi behaves in a funny way, that if he is breaking from the collectivity, then he is nothing but an egoist. No doubt about it. By any argument, by anything. But a person who is a superego fellow, we'll stick on to the collectivity. We'll try to be very close to the ashram, we'll be very close to us, very much here, around it. Even if you said we don't want to, it will be there. Why? Because it realizes that it is aggressed, and also it realizes that it can be sly. So when a left-sided person enters into an ashram, that person would be very nice, quiet, sweet, everything. But the entities, the bhoots in him, will aggress the people slyly. They'll torture him. But those people can be cured very easily because they are troubled and tortured themselves. But those who are egoistical, will be very difficult for them to get out of it. That's why I've been talking about ego yesterday and today. Now you can see all aggression, the manifestation, what's wrong? Say now, I was talking about the chemicals. Now how did you discover these chemicals? It is through your ego, through your science. Now if the science is not related to God or to the whole, then you go like that. And then you can produce hydrogen bombs, you can produce these horrible chemicals, like it's what you call the foolhardiness. You enter into every area, every place, and achieve the power over that. But then you don't know what that is capable of. Supposing now you make computers. Supposing. Tomorrow these computers will eat you off. I must tell you now there's a new disease I have discovered in people, that their conscious mind overpowers them.